Peace and Islam. And we back on another Moon Day lesson. It's gonna be a Sun and a Moon Day lesson. And one, we're gonna teach a little about the historical and the biblical mix. So we're gonna talk about the earthly kingdom, past, present, and future, and heavenly. So we're gonna basically continue with Islam, Muslim, true religion. At the end, we're gonna go through some lessons from this guy. So that's the Moorish American depiction of justice, which we call Jesus, of course, the Muhammad, the conqueror, the prophet. See down here in Spanish, we see admirabile laudo, the most praiseworthy, which is a Mohammedan. But again, we're confused by a lot of these things because we're going by what man has taught us, and Department of Education, schools, Hollywood, media, other souls, authors, website authors, on and on and on. But the truth is within. So that's what we're going to dig in today, within ourselves, of course. So let's get to the truth. So we see, same thing, red cape, right? You got this red cape down there around his legs. But we see the sun and the moon called, right? The crown. We see the temple, Aztec pyramid, which is the temples, with the Ankh, showing you the northwestern portion of Egypt land, which was the whole world at a time. And we situated the northwestern portion. So that's why our stories, biblical or not, or historical, gonna lead us right back to ourselves, right? In America, that's an American depiction. But the light within all Moors, so that's why he's eternal. You see the pyramid of the moon, the pyramid of the sun. That's what we see, sun and moon. And we see we in America with it. Peru. Jesus, which is called Justus. The surname Justus is found in Acts 1:23, Acts 18:7. We learn from tradition that by it, or by its equivalent, St. James, the Lord's brother, was known. In this case, it's curious that one who bore our Lord's name would also have been known by the surname, which was used a particular title, the Just One. So you see, when you hear the word Jesus, there ain't nobody never tell you that you're saying a Latin phrase. This means the one who brings justice, or the one who is just. Some people playing games with you. But when you hear the name, you shriek, or you say, "Oh boy," because you're looking at outside version of somebody that feed to you. You consuming things inside your circle without your own analysis. and intelligence and heart fed into it, understanding, the want of understanding. Now you're gonna get it. You got Justus, which is Jesus, which is justice, or the just one. The only name of this list one in Philemon, nor is the person mentioned elsewhere, Jesus, quote unquote, Joshua, was a common Jewish name. Justus, just the just or the righteous, was frequently adopted by individual Jews or conferred to them as Gentile Latin surnames. It implied devotion to the law, and the equivalent was the Hebrew Zadok. Let's see, Lightfoot. And in Greek, the equivalent is the standing epithet of James, the brother of the Lord. What word did Jesus use for God in Aramaic? What is the word pronunciation of God in Aramaic? I saw Allah in the pronunciation of the God from this link. And did Jesus use the word Allah for God during his speeches? And also in the Aramaic Bible is the word used for God, Allah. This is true. Then the Arabic word Allahu and the word Allah are the same or different. I had to tell this person several years ago. You're absolutely right. It was Allah. And every language on earth, and also for the term for the Most High, Allah. So letting that be known. So when you read these stories, we read these stories, we ain't talking about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, 1,000 miles away. We talking about us today. And we use terms like Islam and Allah, and we don't mean you don't got the same definition of yours. Most likely, if you coming from a Roman perspective. Hold on. Okay, we back. So as we can see, it don't matter what religion, a concept, or ideal, they all basically stand from words and a note from your mother, a maxim, anything inspirational, anything that teaches you something for the good is known as gospel. So the statue is venerated by people from all parts of Panama. Several miracles have been attributed to Cristo Negro, which means the Black Christ in Spanish. And so it is also referred to as El Nazareno. We had the cities of the Nazarenos in history. We had kingdoms of the Nazarenos in America. So we see. So we see what we dealing with Muslim, Salam, and we deal with language. We talk about to be safe and sound, to be blameless, to be clearly proven, to be free, and have escape. So we dealing with signs of ancient Maya. We dealing with all the way back to the Egypt land. And we say Musalim is the one who keeps the peace or makes peace. So basically these first few slides are already deal with all these so-called popularized religions. And again, the Aramaic, right? And we see the Proto-Semitic either or El. And we got Allah, Arabic, Hebrew, El, Eloah, Elohim, plural, God, deity, the whole world. In Islam, she is known as Maryam, mother of Isa, romanticized Isa ibn Maryam. Literally, Jesus, son of Mary. She is often referred to by the honorific title Sayyidatuna, meaning Our Lady. This title is in the parallel of Sayyiduna, our Lord, used for the prophets. Related term of endearment is Siddiqua, meaning she who confirms the truth. So you see how these things got meanings metaphysically, physically, and it means us today. Spiritually and physically, she who believes sincerely, completely. Another title is Mary. For Mary is Juanita. And I know that sounds like one else today in name. It will signify both constant submission to God and absorption in prayer and invocation in Islam. She is also called Tahira, meaning one who has been purified, and representing her status as one of two humans in creation and the only woman to not be touched by Satan at any point. That's metaphysically. In Ayo County of the state of California, according to Phil, there is another petroglyph that states Jesus ben Maria, which means in Arabic, Jesus, son of Mary. This is not a Christian phrase, as we just finished seeing. In fact, the phrase is found in the verses and ayahs of the Holy Quran. The glyph, as Phil believe, is centuries older than the U.S. In the western states of the U.S., he found texts, diagrams, charts, engraving rocks that were used for schooling and date back in 700, 800 Christian era. The schooling was a subject and right around 711 AD, right? The Moors went to Spain, right? The school was a subject such as mathematics, history, geography. I already got history and geography, and a little sea navigation, linguistics. But I will teach some astronomy. I already got a little bit of that too. But I will teach astronomy and mathematics also on this channel. The language of the instruction of Kufic Arabic from North Africa. We're dealing with ancient Egypt land, the whole world, right? Carthage, the Carthaginian Empire, the Moorish Empire. Yusuf Biscano, also Ahmad Abdallah Al-Haiti. He's probably from Haiti, right? Al-Maruni was the Barisco. Probably just some more who could speak Latin. In the service of the Moroccan Sultan Moulay Zidane. And again, Brazil, Moorish American Emperor. And that Morocco, King of that Morocco, right? He was sent as an ambassador to the Low Countries in 1610-11. He met with the Prince Maurice of Nassau, who inquired to him about Islamic opinions on Jesus. He preferred not to answer on the spot, but later sent a letter to Maurice. After returning to Marrakesh, Morocco, the land of Moors, Yusuf Biscano sent the letter in Latin, and to Maurice in 1611. So the Moors still speaking Moorish Latin in the 1600s. Referring as a source on the work of Muhammad Al-Ghazir. And this guy is either Maurice, in my opinion, based off the timeline of this painting and other sources of history references. I still researching this dude though. But he in Brazil. I know that. I are either Yusuf Biscano, one of the two, who went to see Prince of Nassau. We can see what's going on. They're talking about Jesus, Moorish Latin, between them more, Ahmad Abdallah, Haiti, and the Christian Prince, Moorish, most likely, Prince Marike, which is speak more, of Nassau. And you already we got the stories with Moulay Zidane and Maurice. We got plenty of stories of those two. And we got the Red Cape Gang, of course. So we see these two chiefs, South America, North America, both with the Red Cape. And I can show you where they get that from. East and West, right? We got Mama Huaca, which is the Holy Mother. South America, we got the Holy Mother, dripped in fine gold from the land of gold, of course, Peru. South America, or America, period. Land of gold. And Felipe Segunda, Christian king, Moorish. Plenty parts of America under his tutelage, under his control. He took control of the South, what we call the South today, from Virginia to Florida to Texas, South America, and a lot of the islands. But of course, he claimed the whole continent under Spain. So we got Peru in this one. But the control ain't really been as strong as what we think. It was just business dealings. But we're going to show you how it all connected with religion. So we see Montezuma with the crown like the Pope, and the religious type crowns. We see he got a multitude, and we're going to talk about that at the end. I always got a multitude of these kings. So the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of earth go hand in hand. And you understand these things, right? We got Red Cape Gang also. Red Cape Gang of Montezuma. Another Red Cape Gang with a multitude. Got a multitude with them. Another one, multitude, Red Cape. So we need a worldwide connection. Because we lose it in modern time. We don't got that timeline to know our ancestors. Your spirituality comes from your ancestors, the black quantum, the memories that go all the way back to God, to the primordial. You got the marabout, which is a justice, or Jesus. You see him dealing with healing, depositions, angels and demons. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at the end. So another marabout, Brazil. Let me see if that stick. I believe that stick is to deal with the elements. Man, I got control of all the elements. We just forget those sciences. We got wood as one element he dealing with for sure. We see that red bang around his waist. That's also another sign I see for these enlightened ones. The ancient signs we see in paintings is the halo. But I think that been changed when they start using headgear to designate themselves as sages and enlightened ones and holy ones, and the red bands and the red capes and stuff like that, instead of the halos on the pictures I read 1,000 years ago. We got another marabout. Was a healer. He also had a multitude. You read his story. Este Nico El Moro. We see his story. We see he had hundreds of Indians with him, so-called Indians, right? He been in America. And we got depictions all over the world. We see the halo showing the enlightened ones. Enlightened means one with knowledge of self, knowledge of things, of earth, of man. Now you see the halo. You see the noble way. It's customs that give us these halos. Is it in us, the light? When the heart and the mind come together, that's where you get the halo. Metaphysical. Let me see. Southeast Asia, Far East, halos, Buddha. They understand the science. Let me see. Seafaring also. They show you that they've been all over the world because they got a seafare. Since ancient times, set up all these ports and riverways, trading rivers to get through every part of the world, spread this knowledge. Let me see, even a little modern type time. See, more still on the Principe, El Dom Enrique. Let me see these. You can see the storylines, biblical history, which is of course Moorish history. Ancient Canaanites, Moabites, Hittites, and the rest worldwide. Let me see. Red Cape, that's where that come from. Seeing people both sides of the world. You see even the old Romans who been doing the persecuting and governing been Moors. These the ones right here tell stories and pictorials. Holy One getting persecuted from a king and crucified. And when you see these, you see we all do it to ourselves. The only reason we got a horse, foreign man, because that's been our curse. If we go against the way, we be ruled by foreign man. That's what Rome step in. To take the fulfillment. Look like the Last Supper. All Moorish history. Throwing the Holy One. That's why I always say when we get to a point, I see a lot of people ganging up on one person. I say, okay, now when y'all ready to go stone them, I said, what else next to do? That's why we can't really deal with that hatred energy, because we can lessons how we fail ourselves. And then women all be dressed glamorously too. Jewels and shit. In Greece. We got him a captive. All these stories metaphysical because of your ancestors, and they leave a lot of stuff. Conception of the righteous Anna, by righteous Anna, of the most holy Mother of God, Saint Anna, the mother of the Virgin Mary, who was the youngest daughter of the priest Nathan from Bethlehem, descended from the tribe of Levi. She married Saint Joachim, who was a native of Galilee. The Galilee Moor. And look in the background, the architecture already like modernized, like we don't really get it the way they tell it. You have to think even primitive. And the architecture Moorish. Saint Moses. Everybody enlightened in this family. Look like another hat. Last Supper depiction. Moabites. All the Moors. You see? Even the Romans been Moors. Yeah. One kingdom illustrious. Illustrious. Saint Nicholas exorcising the devil. Look at the architecture. Just like we see in India, like we see all over the Moorish Empire, Persia, Spain, the loose America. We got Constantine and his mother, and they the one who codified the religion of Christianity, codified it, and we are where we are today with it. Even if it was Moors. You see old depictions. Okay, so let's finish this up. We're gonna read some more. I think I got some more pictures in it, but let's get to the good stuff. The word. You read full stories. So we're gonna pause probably 1 or 2 times. This damn mic keep falling. Okay. Jesus, or Justus, or Emmanuel, and the ruler of the synagogue of Nazareth, remember, El Nazareno. Jesus teaches not in public, and the people are amazed. Next day, after Peter walked about in Nazareth, he met the ruler of the synagogue, who asked, "Who is this Jesus who lately came to Nazareth?" And Peter said, "This Jesus is the Messiah of whom our prophets wrote. He is the King of Israel." His mother, Mary, lived on Marion Way. You know, Mama lived down there on Marion Way. The ruler said, "Tell him to come up to the synagogue, for I will hear his plea." And Peter ran and told Jesus what the ruler said, but Jesus answered not, and he went not to the synagogue. Then, in the evening time, the ruler came up to Marion Way, and in the home of Mary he found Jesus and his mother all alone. And when the ruler asked for proof of his messiahship, and why he went not to the synagogue where he was bidden, Jesus said, and what he about to say is the way of the Moors, past, present, and future. Right? Because we follow the ways of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Not just Justice or Jesus. All of them. Granny, uncle, brother down the street. If we good words, it's gospel. It's the Mother Holy Breath. Hold on for a second. So let's see what he say, because what he's going to say is a way that you can answer this question. This question is being asked to you, not in this way, but in ways, different ways, all the time, right, people? And we don't ever answer correctly. He said, "I am not slave to any man. I am not called unto this ministry by priests. It is not mine to answer when man call. I come, the Messiah of Allah. I answer unto the Most High alone. Who gave you the right to ask me for proof of my messiahship? My proof lies in my words and my works." So basically what he's saying, and what you should always be saying, is let your works and your words be what make you, not what other men say, because they're only going by what other men say. Who's this Messiah? So he heard that he been a Messiah. He don't know him. And people going to do that all the time. They're going to go by rumors of you, or what they heard of you, and equate that as knowing you, which is erroneous. And so if you will follow me, you will not lack for proof. And then the ruler went his way. He asked himself, what manner of a man is this to disregard the ruler of the synagogue? And who is him to disregard the chief of police, the President of the United States, the deacon or the head minister of the church, right? Superficial titles. Who was him? The people of the town came out in throngs to see the Messiah and hear him speak. But Jesus said, a prophet has no honor in his native town among his kin. I will not speak in Nazareth until the words I speak and works I do in other towns have won the faith of man. So he refused to speak at Nazareth. Until man knew that Allah had chosen me to manifest eternal love. And he's talking to almost, you've been chosen to manifest eternal love. Go woe to you, my kin, I bless you with boundless love, and I bespeak for you abundant joy and happiness. He said no more, and all the people marveled because he would not speak in Nazareth. That's one story. Let's go to 2. Jesus, his 6th disciple, his mother, go to Capernaum. Jesus teaches the people, revealing the difference between the kings of earth and the kings of heaven. The city of Capernaum was by the Sea of Galilee, a port city, of course, Mars. And Peter's home was there. The home of Andrew, John, and James was near. These men were fishermen and must return to tend their nets. And they prevailed on Jesus and his mother to accompany them. And soon with Philip and Nathanael, they were resting by the sea in Peter's home. The news spread through the city and along the shore that Judas King had come, and multitudes drew near to press his hand. So you see, multitudes. We still do this. The only Moors have multitudes. You realize that we're the only one. People always say that, why we the only one who's looking for a leader or some way to follow. So he's got the same spirit right around. Got multitudes with us. And he always do word. Ministry. Whether that flock getting laid off a bridge or not, dying me to judge, but what I see is the multitudes being crowded up. Even if we're online, shit's still going on. And Jesus said, I cannot show the king unless you see with the eyes of soul, because the kingdom of the king is in the soul. And every soul is a kingdom is. Every soul got a king. He's talking about the circle. And I know I'm supposed to then make the video talking about the circles. We're going to do that another time. But now he's talking about every kingdom. Unless you see the kingdom, the king is in the soul. And every soul is a kingdom. There is a king for every man. This king is love. And when this love becomes the greatest power in life, it is the Messiah. So Messiah is king. And everyone may have this Messiah dwell in the soul, as Messiah dwell in my soul. The body is the temple of the king, and man may call a holy man a king. And that's what we're dealing with. The halo is the crown, take metaphysical crown. The one who rises to the throne of the soul and become king of that kingdom first. He will cleanse his mortal form and make it pure, so pure that love and righteousness may dwell inside, unsullied, side by side, within its walls as king. That circle as a fort. And in that fort, love and righteousness may dwell inside. You gotta keep other things outside, right, of the fort. The king on earth are clothed in royal robes and sit in the state that man may stand in awe of them. A king of heaven may wear a fisher garb, may sit in a mart of trade, may till the soil, or be a gleaner in the field, may be a slave in mortal chains, right? Because the outside sure don't matter in this kingdom. What we talking about? May be a judge, a criminal by men, may languish in the prison cell, may die upon a cross. Man seldom see what others truly are. The human senses sense what seems to be, and that it seems to be, and that which is may be diverse in every way. might be totally different. The carnal man beholds the outer man, which is the temple of the king, and worship at his shrine. The man of God is pure in heart. He sees the king. He sees the eye of soul. And when he rises to the plane of Messiah consciousness, he knows that he himself is king, thus love, a Messiah, and son of Allah. You, man of Galilee, prepare to meet your king. And Jesus taught the people many lessons as he walked with them besides the sea. We got two more. Jesus again visit the temple. And was favorably received by the people. Tells the parable of a king and his son, defines messiahship. So even though he's skipping around in the text, they talk about one thing and try to stick to one thing, which is the kingdom of within. Next day, the multitudes were surging through the temple courts, intent on hearing Jesus speak. So he already got thousands of people follow him everywhere he go. When he came, the people say, "All hail, behold the king." And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, a king had vast domains. His people all were kin and lived in peace. Now, after many years, the king said to his people, "Take these lands and all I have, enhance your values, rule yourselves, and live in peace." And then the people formed their states, selected governors and petty kings. But pride, ambition, selfish greed, and base ingratitude grew fast, and kings began to war. And we're talking about this. This can go for almost any situation now, modern day world. You know, people say we always messing up a good thing. Or we got groups like celebrities, it ain't groups always breaking up or stuff like that. And that's what he's saying with this metaphysical inner kingdom, that we get everything that we need, right? The lands and vast domains, and we are all kin, and we all living in peace. But then what can destroy it? Pride, ambition, selfish greed, base ingratitude. When that grow, the kingdom fall. They wrote in all their statutes books that might is right, and then the strong destroyed the weak, and chaos ran through all the vast domain. A long time passed, and then the king looked out on his domain. He saw his people in the cruel wars. He saw them sick, sore distress. He saw the strong enslave the weak. And then he said, "What shall I do? Shall I send forth a scourge? Shall I destroy all my people?" And then his heart was stirred with pity. And that's why I always say a male or a female is only half without the other counterpart, because he about to destroy everybody. That's when the mother holy breath would have come in. The mother God, his wife, would have tell her, "No, don't do that, do this," and give him another idea. So what he do is, "I will send forth my only son, heir to the throne, to teach the people love and peace and righteousness." And again, watch the movie. The Book of Eli is the same story. When everybody been living in darkness, ignorance, they send him through the brain of light, love, righteousness, peace. Because they damn sure ain't had it. Everybody been partying, doing the same things we doing as humanity, dealing with ignorance instead of knowledge. So you take it to the place where they've been collecting our knowledge. The only thing they had been the book of rights. So they need that book. And that's just the metaphysical way, in a physical term, saying the sun, which is again admirably laudo, her most praised red cape person. So he sent her son. The people scorned him, maltreated him, and nailed him to a cross. He was entombed, but death was too far weak to hold the prince, and he arose. He took a form man could not kill, and that's why they couldn't kill him, because he round all the time. He round right now. He's speaking. He took a form man could not kill. Then he went again to teach the people love, peace, and righteousness. Because he always going to be the son born to bring that in the midst of ignorance. And this Allah deals with man. That's how he deal with it. Sending Moors. A lawyer came and asked, what does Messiah means? And who has right to make Messiah of a man? And Jesus said, Messiah is one sent from Allah to seek and save the lost. Messiahs are not made by men. And first of every age, Messiah comes to light the way, to heal our broken hearts, to set the prisoners free, to love, and the Messiah are one. Because a man claims to be Messiah, that's not a sight that he is the Messiah. So it's not a sign based off a claim. A man may cause the stream to flow from flinty rocks, may bring storms at woe, may stay tempestuous winds, may heal the sick and raise the dead, and not be sent from Allah. All nature is subservient to the will of man, and evil man, as well as good, have all the powers of mind, may control the elements. Talk about that earlier, controlling of the elements, alchemy, stuff like that. The head give not the proof of true messiahship, for a man by means of intellect can never know Allah, nor bring himself to walk in light. So you see, that's just the one half that I be talking about. You need heart and mind, and working in conjunction, balance. Messiah lived not in the head, but in heart, the seat of mercy and of love. Messiah never worked for selfish gain. He stand above the carnal self. His words and deeds are for the universal good. Messiah never tries to be king, to wear a crown and sit upon an earthly throne. The king is earthly, of the earth. Messiah is the man from heaven. And then the lawyer asks, why do you pose as king? You walk around with a robe, purple robe on the crowd with 1,000 people, and Tiberius ain't even saying nothing, because Rome don't do nothing. I see now, that's this for you. They don't do nothing. They just assist whenever they get their chance to get in. Somebody bring them before them, then they'll give the people what they want. And most of the time, they want to persecute something. So Rome going to do the persecuting for you. That situation we're in now. And Jesus said, no man has ever heard me say that I am king. So don't get it twisted. You assume that I came by the way I act. You never hear me say that. I could not sit in Caesar's place, but that was Caesar. But he just using Caesar as metaphysically the king of Rome. By the name of Tiberius during this time. And be the Messiah. Give unto Caesar what belongs to him. Give unto Allah the treasures of your heart. The disciples turned their face toward the land of Galilee, but when they reached the city of Samaria, the multitude pressed hard about them, begging them to tarry in their city for a while. So he's becoming a rock star. Hold on. And then they went up to the synagogue, and Jesus opened the book of Moses, and he read, "In thee and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed." And then he closed the book and said, "These words were spoken by the Lord of the hosts." Lord of hosts. Now, we deal with Lord of hosts. We're dealing with the 7 sins and the 7 virtues, and how we obsessed using these, how we get obsessed using these air spirits, these ways and things, right? And that's the Lord of hosts. Unto our father Abraham and Israel has been blessed to all the world. We are his seed, but not a tithe of the great work that we were called to do has yet been done. The Lord of hosts has set apart the Israelites to teach the unity of Allah and man, but one can never teach that which he does not demonstrate in life. So you could, but that's basically the blind leading the blind. But one claiming messiahship or whatever to that point, they must be living it. They're gonna tell people to live it. Our God is spirit, and in Allah all wisdom, love, and strength abide. In every man these secret attributes are budding forth, and in due time they will unfold. The demonstration will be completed, be completed, and man will comprehend the fact of unity. So that's what we, as Moorish Americans, right, we understand what he been telling us back then. So God to us ain't on these superficial definitions that man coming up with. It's actual love and righteousness, especially when we seen it being expressed in others. That's God, spirits. And you, the ruler of the synagogue, and you, these priests, are honored servants of the Lord of hosts. Right? Their job was to the same thing they're doing now. Everybody got mixed spirits and misunderstanding, ignorance in certain things. A so-called priest and the ruler of a synagogue, their job is to get those things right in the people, because they do work for the Lord of hosts. All men are looking unto you for guidance in the way of life. Example is another name for a priest. Example, how about that? All that damn talking. So what you would that people be, that you must be. And I just felt to explain that guidance in the ways of life. That's religion. None of that other spooky shit that you can't comprehend. Guidance in the ways of life. That's true religion. The noble ways. A simple, godly life may win 10,000 souls to purity and right. And he's showing you how he did it, how he got them people following him, just by him living a godly life. And all the people said, Amen. Then Jesus left the synagogue, and at the hour of evening prayer, he went up to the sacred grove, came to this channel, and all the people turned their face toward the holy mount and prayed. And Jesus prayed. And as he sat in the silent move, a voice spoke to his soul, imploring help, souls that speak to souls. And Jesus saw a woman on a couch in sore distress, for she was sick, nigh unto death. She could not speak, but she had heard that Jesus was a man of Allah, and in her heart she called on help on him for help. And we see that all the time. You can tell people's face sometimes and read their mind. I know people will ask for that. I get to tell. Souls speak to souls. And Jesus helped. He did not speak, but like a flash of light, a mighty virtue from the soul fulfilled the body of the dying one, and she arose and joined her kindred while they prayed. Her kindred was astonished, and they said to her, "How were you healed?" And she replied, "I do not know. I simply asked the man of Allah and thought for healing power, and in a moment I was well." She asked for him just to look with her eyes. And in this ending part of the story, just for small appreciations and words of encouragement and stuff like that should be given at all times, especially by most. That's our power of healing and dealing with these spirits, lower and the high ones, exorcisms, and our words, right? Words of teaching, right? You know, people when they learn something, they get the light bulb, a realization or a revelation of something, a light bulb moment, ping, knock that off of somebody. Encouragement, motivation, inspiration, all those things. Words can drive those spirits into people and drive out bad ones. Appreciation, stuff like that. The people said, "The gods had surely come to earth, for man has not the power to heal by thought." But Jesus said, "The greatest power in heaven and earth is what? Thought." Thought is that power that, let's let him explain. Allah made the universe by thought. Allah paints the lily and the rose with thought. Why I think it's strange that I should send a healing thought and change the ethers of disease and death to those of health and life. So the ethers, that's made a multitude. That's why I say when you're making videos or you recording yourself, you're speaking to the multitude, and you're speaking to the people in the future, even unborn. Because people will always see your video after you pass and get a certain thing out of it, right? A spirit. So spread good thoughts. And that's when you deal with power, universal power. Why I think it's strange, right? So, lo, you shall see far greater things than this. For by the power of the holy thought, my body will be changed from carnal flesh to spirit one, and so will yours. When Jesus had thus said, he disappeared, and no one saw him go. His disciples did not comprehend the change. They knew not where their master went, and they went their way. But as they walked and talked about the strange event, lo, Jesus came and walked with them to Nazareth of Galilee. He tripped me out. So, we done with this one. When we come back, we're going to talk about the circle. And angels and demons that's within us all. Cultivating the angels within you, binding the demons within you, spirits, right? And you can't kill it. You can only bind it, because it's always a part of you, yourself, your higher and your lower self. Alright, so we're going to end it right there. Nothing else to be said on this. I've been through the historical, biblical history, showing you from different parts of the world, showing you through language. And then metaphysically, never end. and which is eternal, right? So we're gonna start right there. I'll see you in the next lessons. Peace.